Complicated.
Opportunity.
Disruption.
Generosity.
Needed. Leadership is badly needed.
Your theme leadership is very much on my mind, so very timely.
We can say that the Asian era is just around the corner.
This is called the Asian century for the reason that the center of economic gravity has migrated from somewhere in the middle of the North Atlantic in the 1950s to now somewhere in the middle of Western China.
Interesting enough, up until the early 19th century, 1820s, the world was Asian. Half of the world was Asian. It was China and India. They made up about half of the world's economy. It went down to about 5% of the world economy by 1980. By the end of the century, it will be again up to 45-50%.
So I think the biggest change leaders have to face is the changing nature of globalization. Here in Asia, you have enormous geopolitical changes with the relative decline of the United States, the rise of China, and a whole host of other countries. And wherever you are in the world, whatever sector, whatever kind of institution, you are going to have to cope with a dramatically different geopolitical context.
The biggest problem we face is the survival of the planet.
Well, the biggest shift has been the awareness that nature is actually the foundation of our economy. We always thought that societies create economies, but we forgot that societies make use of biosphere to create those economies.
I think the biggest challenge that global leaders in contemporary times have realized that they have to seize upon, confront directly, is probably social pressure.
We have to rebuild trust in institutions, which partly means we have to reshape institutions to a different world. This is a time for a different style of leadership.
I do think there is such a thing as Asian leadership.
Don't believe that there's anything innately different about Asian leaders.
Yes, there is a difference between the Asian leadership as compared to Western leadership.
I think rather than talking about Asian leadership, it can be useful to think about leadership in Asia. And I think there are undoubtedly attributes of leaders in Asia that could be very usefully deployed to challenge the current paradigm around global leadership.
But one thing is clear to me is that there is a certain commonality among the successful Asian countries' leadership. That is, the leaders actively participated in the multilateral free-trading system.
It troubles me greatly, having spent quite a few decades of my working life around the World Trade Organization, that now we get this questioning of something which has given us really 70 years of prosperity and security.
We still have to talk about transformational leadership. By definition, transformational leadership is the ability of the leaders to inspire changes for the positive.
Seeking truth from facts, emancipate the mind, and unite as one to face the future.
The last 3 or 4 decades, Korea achieved drastic and very rapid economic development and growth, and together with democratization. And in the process, I realized that those 2 important values is not the matter of making a choice. We can achieve these 2 elements at the same time.
There's an expectation that corporations actually are de facto providers of public goods.
The purpose of business is not just business, it is how it impacts community. And the saying was, what comes from the community goes back multiplied.
Reinvest in the biospheres to keep a healthy biosphere and thus a healthy economy.
But you have to bring people along with you in a different way. So generosity in the way you engage those you work with, generosity in the way that you engage your partners around the world, generosity in the way you contribute to a better world.